Welcome to Sold with Webinars, a podcast that aims to uncover how the most successful experts, coaches, consultants, and e-course professionals sell their products and services with just one sales presentation or webinar. A simple sales webinar can transform the business and life of a solopreneur. And this podcast will show you how other experts just like you are generating 6 and 7 figures per year online with their webinars. So let's get started. Hey there, Joel Irway here, and thanks so much for tuning in today. Now, I'm really excited about having our second part of our 2-part interview with Travis Stephenson. Now, on the first episode, we talked about how he was using auto webinars to generate sales for a previous software business. On part 2 of this interview, we talk about how Travis is now launching a brand new software product and how he's using live webinars to generate sales for his minimum viable product of his software. And so I want you to focus in on this episode and really listen to what his strategy is for how he's launching and generating sales for a product before it's really even fully functional. I mean, it's functional to a standpoint, but this is a very important strategy for anybody who's looking to launch a brand new product or service, and how you can start generating sales to help fund the development of the software, how you can generate sales before your product is even officially launched. So without further ado, let's get right into part 2 of our interview with Travis today. Awesome, man. So you told us a little bit about straight to auto webinar with InterOptin a couple minutes ago. Now tell us what you're doing now with your new software and what your plan is. So give us a little bit of background about what your new software does and what your concept is with your live webinars and how's it going for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's what we've been doing is I have a new software coming out that I'm like massively stoked about. I think it's going to be my biggest accomplishment, my best product, my best launch. It's something that has mass appeal, even outside of the internet marketing game. It's, it can be commercial almost, but, so I'm getting ready to launch that. And, what we decided to do was we were like, you know what, it's obviously a lot of money goes into building these software tools, and I know that it has a ton of value. So let's introduce my following to it and show them the product. Let's do it and, see what the take is, and we're going to give everybody a big discount ahead of time because they're getting in before all the features are set up. So it's kind of a cool, imagine Kickstarter, right? Imagine Kickstarter, but for software as a service businesses. Mm-hmm. And you do it to your own audience, or you can do it to cold audiences and whatnot. And so that's what we did. We had our MVP, which any of you guys are doing software, MVP, minimum viable product. It is the least amount of use that you can have in a program with still being able to sell it, right? So we identified what our MVP was going to be, and we said, okay, when we get here, we're going to start selling it, even though it doesn't do everything that we want it to do. We're going to start selling it at a low cost, let everybody kind of get in, test it for us, and do that. And so did a webinar, it crushed it, did like $250 per attendee, which is something that I've almost never done. And this is, meanwhile, a demo that barely worked, and it was awesome. And that was live with my list, so it's not cold traffic. And so a couple weeks go by, and an affiliate partner of mine is having a launch, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm pretty damn good with buying cold traffic. I'm actually going to buy cold traffic on Facebook to his webinar so that I don't have to consistently bang my list, which just bought my product, but I still want to support this affiliate. So in 3 minutes, I take my iPhone, I film a little video. Hey, this webinar's coming up. Join us. Explaining what we're going to be covering. And I give away a case study on the webinar, which is really cool because one of my clients actually is really successful in the e-commerce niche, which is what we were covering on the webinar. And so I start driving traffic to that. My lead cost is phenomenally low. It's awesome. So we keep pushing it. So we spend and I can tell you right here, we spend $5,500. I'm looking at it right now. Mm-hmm. We spent $5,526. We sent 1,435 leads. So on average, we were spending $3.85 to get somebody to sign up for this webinar, which everybody knows in the internet marketing world, that is gangster.
That's
right?
insane.
It's big money. And we only reached 120,000 people of our 4 million person audience, which was really cool. So we know it was scalable. So we get them on the webinar. The webinar goes off really well. We end up generating 19,500 in sales, of which we obviously, as the affiliate, we get 50% of. So call it we made like $9,000, right? So we spent 5,500, we made 9,000. Nobody's gonna like write home and be like, "Oh my God, you're a freaking guru. Look at your 1,000% ROI." However, I did generate 1,400 leads cold, where I ended up making $4,000 in a week. So a lot of people are probably like, "Well, actually, now that you put it that way, that's pretty cool." Now, every good webinar person knows that when you get on a webinar, the very first thing that you do is hit the record button so that you can have your replay, right? Because without the replay, your revenue is basically cut in half. Replay is usually double whatever we make on the live call.
Yep.
Well, being that GoToWebinar is famous for its glitches, something's going on with the Mac OS X OS right now where the combination of the two, something happened. My computer fried out and I pressed record, but it didn't hold the recording. I got like 2 minutes.
Oh.
So I had recording. And so what I always do, and I would suggest this to all of you guys who are doing live webinars, I always schedule 2 sessions. I schedule the first one that I actually want, and the very next day I do a different time zone encore. So the live broadcast was on a Wednesday at 7. I had another session already set up at 3 for Thursday. So 3 p.m. comes up on Thursday, and I'm like, I got nothing. I got no replay to show him. The guy's not coming back on to do another encore. So I said, look, I got on like 20 minutes early, and there was like 50, 70 people on. I'm like, all right. So I tell them flat out, I'm like, guys, I've got something really cool I could show you, or I could just sit here and BS and like, it is what it is. You guys are here. I want to make it worth your time. Would you guys want to see a new program that I'm releasing that is in its early alpha stage? And I'll introduce it to you if you guys all say yes. Everybody's like, yes, 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 cool. So I run through my Chatmatic webinar, which is the one that's not quite done yet. We had 90 people show up to the webinar. We did $13,500 in sales off of an encore that was, promoting a different opt-in page on the day of. It was kind of a last minute thing, and whatever happened. So we ended up making an additional 13 grand off of that 5,500 in ad spend. So that was a big win for us. Next week comes around, another affiliate partner has a launch, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it right for this guy. We'll record the webinar with him, and we'll do all this. And so do it for him again. And we just did this one on Monday. That was the webinar you were referencing before. This time we spent $5,700. We got 1,300 leads. So we spent $425 per lead. Still pretty good. That's only, by the way, that's only 6 days of optimization and scaling. So like if I had like 14, 21 days to optimize the leads and to scale them, I'd be at like less than $4 for every ad set, I think. So that webinar comes on the live call. We do more money on this one. We did like 12,000 in earnings for my side. So we did 24,000 in sales. So we spent 5,700, did 24,000 in sales, of which I get 12. And what do you know? GoToWebinar doesn't have a recording for me again. So being a good webinar guy that I am, I obviously had the encore already set up. So the next day I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing. I get on the call and I'm like, guys, look, you guys don't know me. Normally I would have the encore for you. I would normally show you what we showed everybody yesterday, but there's no recording and I can't get the guy, back on this live call. How about I show you guys something else? If you guys think it's cool, awesome. They're like, yeah, okay, no problem. Yesterday.
So how congruent were these two offers?
Relatively congruent, but flat out, one of them, I'll tell you, one of them was teaching a little bit about e-commerce and how to use Instagram to generate traffic to e-commerce. My offer is much more about like generating leads, much more about getting more activity from your Facebook page. Chatmatic is more software. Both of the webinars I was promoting were both of the offers that I was promoting had no software. They were training. The one that I ran on Monday was $2,500 and was just training. And then the next day, my encore is my software again, which is now granted, yes, I know that my software works with e-commerce. So in both aspects, if you watched both of them, could you in theory buy both products? Absolutely. And would it work for both? Yes. But were they like, was one of them a software that's kind of similar and my next one was no? Like they were opposite in that, spectrum. So they were totally different.
So to summarize for people who are listening right now, so what just happened was Travis here ran some ads for an affiliate. So he's running ads to get people onto a webinar that is not his product. He's selling it for somebody else. Or he's not selling it, but he's promoting it for somebody else. This guy's going to hop on the webinar and sell his product. Great. Travis is going to get 50% of all the sales that come in. So what happened was on a live webinar, and correct me if I'm wrong, the recording didn't work. So then when you go to do the encore, you hop on, it's like, oh, sorry guys, but hey, are you interested in this other, you want me to show you something else? And so you sold your product. So you sold an affiliate product and you sold your product to the same list, even though, it might be different segments. So you drastically crushed your ROI because now you're getting the affiliate, you're making the affiliate happy, and you're making yourself happy because you're selling your product and your affiliate's product. And that's amazing, man. Dude.
It was such a dual win. I mean, it was one of those things where like, if obviously it's not opportune, but afterwards I was talking to the guy that I work with on running my ads. And I was like, look, man, we might actually be onto something here where I got to just stop promoting other people's stuff and just get back to doing this on its own, because even though it's not done and it's incomplete and, it is what it is, people really, really like what I'm selling on my own. And at the end of the day, going back to what we were talking about at the very beginning, that, I really love and understand and respect the one-on-one connection that webinars bring. And so like when I'm on a webinar with my potential clients, I emotionally attach to their situation. I think a lot differently than a lot of other guys. And so, I'm not a very, and right now I'm sick, so maybe it doesn't come across as well, but like I am not a monotone speaker type. I'm going to get my point across, slow moving guy. I get jacked up. I get real excited. I bring my video, I turn my screen on, and I'm like drawing on whiteboards, and I'm like moving around, and and this is a great tactic for a lot of people. When you want to really get your point across, don't just repeat it, but like make an awkward length of silence. Because people are like, wait, is he frozen? But since they can see you, they know you're not frozen. And then it's like, I want you to know what I just said. And like little stuff like that. So yeah, we ended up, and so like to summarize everything, I guess, we spent in total $12,368 on ads with, reminders and things like that in the last 2 weeks. Of that 12,000, we ended up making right around 23,000 on affiliate offers. That was actual earnings from the affiliate offer, was about 22. So right there, we've made 10 grand in 2 weeks. Pretty good to build a list of 2,800 subscribers, which is cool, right? Like that right in itself is good. But then on the encore sessions, we've done now with follow-ups, we've done close to 30,000 in sales, which we keep 100% of. So that's 30,000 in revenue for the business. Now, in the current situation, we're spending pretty much 100% of that money on continuing to invest in the software. But either way you shake it, it's income. It's money that I don't have to spend out of pocket now. It's now going right out of the dev. So it was a phenomenal turnout on the live, then turning on the encore. If you're not doing encores, do it, man. Especially with GoToWebinar, like. They automatically sign up for both sessions when they sign up for one. And then when you go live the next day, it GoToWebinar sends them the reminders. You don't even have to send emails out letting them know it's going down. GoToWebinar does that for you. So like, I literally never promote my encores. I just promote the main session. And then, so yesterday we did promote the encore because I filmed like this little short 1-minute video of like, hey, like, this is actually funny. Like I filmed a 1-minute video when I found out that the recording didn't take. I filmed a 1-minute video and I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry, our recording didn't take, but I've got something cool to show you today. Make sure you guys opt in below. Make sure you guys are there. We're doing this live again. And so we just set up a couple of ads on Facebook, turned the ads back onto Facebook, and promoted the new session. But we had 100 registrants, and it's hilarious. That one little 1-minute video. It's a cool little stat for any of you stat geeks out there. That little 1 or 2 minute video where I'm literally sick in the video, like you can hear on my voice now. And I started the video with my face on camera, and I was running out of the door to kind of make it entertaining. And I'm like, we got to get outside. And I go outside, and I'm like, all right, now that we're outside, I can tell you guys what's going on today. I'm obviously sick, and the recording didn't work, and all this. And yesterday we did 150 leads yesterday. we spent, or no, I'm sorry, 320 leads yesterday, which is crazy. That can't be right. Oh wait, today's Wednesday. That's right. Okay, so Tuesday. Let's look at Tuesday. We did. We're looking at just yesterday. All right, we did 113 leads for $537. So we spent $475, but we made $2,500 that day off of those people who signed up that day for that 1 minute. They have no idea what's going on. Little video. So big thing to take out of this is number one, and this is what I wanted to say. I know that you don't want your podcast to go too long because people are going to be like, come on now. But one thing I want everybody to get out of this is the things that I've learned through these trial and error that you guys can take out of this, and I hope you take out of it, is this. Number one, nobody cares at all what you're selling. They care about what they need. And until your ad and your funnel and your everything is, what does this audience want? What do they need? Until you've done that, I don't care what your product does. I don't care how good it is. I made that mistake with InterOptin early on as I was promoting hey, InterOptin is this cool way to get traffic, leads, and sales. But that wasn't the desire of my niche. That was not going deep enough. Yes, they want traffic, leads, and sales, but that's not what they want. That's a byproduct of what they want. What they want is results. What they want is they want to know what they're going to see gets results, right? Because that's my niche. And so when I started focusing on making my ad about results, about this is what you can do, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to accomplish, this is what others have done, we started seeing massive results. And so that's why, with my squeeze page, with that 1 or 2 minute video, it was, I'm going to show you guys tonight how you can start, regardless of where you're at in your business. I'm going to show you how you can start generating leads right now by simply posting viral content on Facebook. You don't have to do anything else, nothing complicated. You can have it up in 5 minutes. Come and let me show you how this works. And I promise you'll be able to start activating this right away. So it's very simple. I didn't make it overly complicated. I wasn't our Facebook software that taps into the API of your fan page. Super cool to the geeks and nerds of us out there. But at the end of the day, my audience wants easier. They want spend less time, more results, automation, things like that. And so when you actually dive that deep into your own pitch, I promise you, your opt-in rates are going to go up. Our opt-in rates right now are 55 to 60%, which is astronomical.
Yeah.
And your opt-in rates are going to go up. Your attendance is going to be what it's going to be, guys. I'm 15 to 18, maybe 20% max on my attendance. But when you include the encore, we're up at 30%. So if you can make $100 per attendee, 30% attendance on 1,000 attendees, that's 300 people. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And so, matching your audience's deep desire needs to what your product actually is going to do is the number one thing that you've got to figure out. It's not about, list building. It's not people don't want to build a list most of the time. Unless you're advertising to marketers, in which case, yeah, but that's going to be even a different pitch altogether. But most basic level getting started kind of entrepreneurs, they want a crystal clear plan that's going to get them from where they're at now, which is not successful, to where they want to be, which is some level of success. It doesn't have to be $20,000 a day. It just has to be, okay, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. So when I stopped almost overcomplicating my sales pitch and my message and my ads, and just went right to the heart, right to the guts of what my customers want, my ads started getting so much better, and I started paying so much less. And going back to the auto webinar, what I was paying for a lead, obviously we were saying I was paying about $5 to $6. I was getting 30 to 35% opt-in rate, and I was collecting name, email, and mobile number on the page. So it wasn't just email address. It was name, email, and phone. If I really wanted to, and maybe I'm just lazy, I guess, but I could call every single one of those people legally. I'm within my rights, and it wouldn't even be annoying to them, and be like, hey, this is Travis. You opted in for my webinar, and I see here that you didn't show up. I was just making sure that everything was okay. You got the links. And if that's what you call for right out the gate, you can start a conversation, and in 20 minutes, you can actually sell your software. Some people are like, oh, the link didn't work for me. Thanks for reminding me. a lot of stuff that you could end up doing to really maximize your earnings. You just got to be willing to dive into it. But the webinars start a deeper level of relationship than sales pages, and that's why for me, it's just like it's going to be really hard for me to scale back down to sales pages because it feels cold. I don't like writing them.
Take forever, man. They take a ton of time to write sales pages.
Oh, crazy. But yeah, I mean, I love webinars. I'm going to continue to do webinars. We've already got a plan mapped out for our next product that we're going to be doing with your webinars. I've got a big launch coming March 20th for this product. That's going to be all webinar, all private, a couple of public webinars where you can promote like a public squeeze page and your links, your leads get cookied and whatnot. But, so it's like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with like, oh, don't you get tired of doing webinars from 3 to 9 p.m.? Well, to be completely honest with you, when you go home and you can tell your wife, like, hey, I made $50,000 today, or but it's or even $5,000, right? Like, no, you don't get tired of it. Because you realize this is where I'm at, right? Like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what makes me happy, the lifestyle that I want to live. I only work, I do the webinars for sometimes 6 hours a day, but I can take longer days off. Like we're going to Turks and Caicos for Valentine's Day and my wife's birthday. And, I can do that because I do webinars for 9 hours a day sometimes. And so it's a give or take, but I see so many people overlooking webinars. And that's why when you asked me to talk about it, I was like, man, webinars are, while I teach a lot of other stuff, Facebook ads, I teach a bunch of other things. Webinars are like my biscuits and gravy, man. They're like, that's my number one, dude. Like, if anybody said, if I can do anything from this day forward, what should I do? And with a guarantee of success that you're going to teach me how to do it, I'd be like, start doing webinars. I don't care what your product is. Even if you're selling freaking LED cat lamps, sell more of them on webinars than you will anything else, because you'll be able to ask people one-on-one, like, why do you need this cat lamp? Well, I don't know if I need it. And instantly you can be like, let's figure out why you need it. They now need it and they buy it. And so it's like, it's just one of those things where I just think people overlook them so hardcore. And, hey, I guess more the merrier, right?
That's right. I mean, where it's difficult, that's where the most opportunity is, right? Because people are like, I'm just going to do video sales letters. Like, all right, fine. Good luck and let me know how it goes. But, if you really want to connect with your audience and you really want to dive deep and you really want to figure out, get immediate feedback. That's one of the greatest things about live webinars is getting the feedback from your audience. So when you talk about something on your webinar and you pause, say, guys, does that make sense? And you get a couple people that says, well, what does this mean? It's like, okay, boom. I know for the next one, I got to change it. It's like instant feedback and instant credibility. So
yeah. And like when you have a sales page, you can't always tell if whatever you think your message is, like your hook and your pitch, like if it doesn't resonate with a majority of your audience, you may never know, because you might make a couple of sales and be like, oh, that product just sucked. But it's like on webinars, like you said, right away, okay, that normally I'm getting this much per attendee. This time I did not. So the message didn't resonate with that audience. Maybe my ads are this, my PowerPoint wasn't set up the right way. And you get instant feedback on all that stuff. But yeah, it's like webinars for sure have 100% changed my life. And now my wife is doing them for her fitness niche, which is really cool. And I'm obviously, right now I'm in the gym, so I don't know if you guys can actually hear the feedback of the music, but I own a CrossFit gym. And so my office is in my gym. You want to talk about, adding to your productivity when fitness is a big part of my life. So I literally go from working out. Even this morning, I was lifting, came right upstairs in time to get on this interview. I'm going to go back downstairs, finish my workout, come back up, finish my work. But it's one of those things where like I've got a couple of people who are doing who are in my gym who are doing webinars after talking to me for a little bit about some of their like online products, things that they wanted to sell. And so it's like, once you give it a couple of chances and you learn the right way and learn how to format your webinar. And, I've done consulting for guys where I've helped them like how to set their webinar up. That's one of the big things a lot of people fail at, is like they focus too much on the phrase, like I love the phrase show, don't tell. So, when it comes to my webinars, I try to show and not tell. I don't want to talk. I don't want to like just spit stuff out and whatever. But too many people get focused on this, like, oh, I got to tell my story. I got to tell my, like, how I went from nothing to then I found this magic thing. And it's like, come on, that's BS. That's not true. People see through it over time. Yes, it works. And I get it. And stories definitely sell, but it doesn't have to be that kind of story. It could be a story of, like, it can be a different kind of story. Don't get caught up in the, because I did when I first started. I was like, man, I don't have that, like, down in the dumps. My dad, went broke and we lost everything and I was living on a motorcycle. Like, I didn't have that. I had some crappy times, yes, where I was living in a small apartment, but, like, it's not like I was, like, gonna die or something. So I was like, oh man, I always have a hard time selling with that. So instead I was like, you know what? Just sell with value, man. Like, show people what's up. Show them that you care about them individually who's on the call, and let them know that, like, after the sale, it's not over. It's the beginning of something. It's not the end. So had some really good success there. So yeah, I mean, hopefully some of this information, whether you're trying to use an auto webinar or you're trying to do lives, hopefully it works. Hopefully it works for you, and don't overlook trial and error. Trial and error. That's how I figured it all out.
Dude, Travis, you gave me such a ton of information, and thank you for sharing this with the audience. So to recap real quick, guys, I mean, we talked about auto webinars, and we talked about how Travis is using InterOptin and going straight to an auto webinar, selling his $9.97 product, doing on average about $17 earnings per registrant. And then he went and shared how he turned his live webinar they did the past couple of weeks, and how he screwed up on recording the replay, but he turned that into an extra $30,000 in revenue for his own business, even though he was promoting an affiliate product, which is just awesome. And so if I did the numbers correctly, the total earnings per lead on that, including the affiliate commissions and your revenue, was about $18 per lead if we're looking at the 2,800 leads and the $53,000 in earnings. So we can check the numbers on that. But Travis, so tell us where we can learn more about what you're doing, and give us give my audience information on where they can find your products and go check you out.
Sure. So I about a year and a half ago, I started thinking about that myself too. I'm like, man, what do I, do I start TravisStephenson.com, or what do I do? And I was like, you know what was really important to me was this idea of, I see so many guys out there promoting, like, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and all this stuff. And I was like, what I want to do is start something that's more of a movement of, like, giving people whatever they want. Because 90% of the people out there don't want Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Like, they want just general level of success and happiness and more time. And that's kind of what I thought was important. So I started my company. I changed my company to a company called Wealthery. So like wealth, but Wealthery, with the idea of it being kind of like a refinery, right? Or a winery, where it's a place where you go to get something. And so I thought, man, it's pretty cool. Like, Wealthery, you can go here to get wealth. And so we started a little simple website that just kind of showcases a couple of our products. And I'm working on the blog there. So pretty much everything that we sell, we're going to at least talk a little bit about on Wealthery. There's going to be a lot more information that I share on the actual blog itself. And then other than that, I have my Facebook fan page. I'm trying to be more active with, which I know is, something that a lot of people are working on right now. But my Facebook.com/Travis Income. I post a lot of live videos. I do a lot of whiteboard trainings because I'm a whiteboard geek. So yeah, I mean, that's probably the best way to find me. My Instagram is all about CrossFit, because I've obviously got dual businesses going on. So I keep my Instagram about CrossFit because I think that's a bigger niche for me on Instagram. And so it's all about fitness and whatnot, but you can obviously find me on there, Travis CrossFit. And then otherwise, internet is so great that it's super easy to find pretty much anybody at any time. So feel free, check me out on Wealthery or my fan page. Happy to share, help out whenever I can. This was a cool interview. It's also cool to, like, rehear some of it myself after thinking about it. So I'm actually going to write some of this down myself to be like, don't forget that you did this, because I saw this really funny thing from Frank Kern like 3 months ago, where he was like, have you ever done something that was really successful and then just randomly stopped doing it? And like and then you look back like a year or two later and you're like, why did I stop doing this? And it's like, I get caught up doing that as well. Like, did $50,000 in sales on this one webinar after spending, $12,000 in ads. And it's like, sometimes you get caught up doing the next thing that you forget to still do that one. And so I got to write it down for myself. Like, don't forget to keep doing that.
Awesome, dude. Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your expertise on webinars. Really impressed with what you're doing. I mean, you're absolutely crushing it. You got tons of business going on right now, multiple businesses, constantly doing software. So Chatmatic, I know, is going to be great. I'm interested in checking it out myself. And yeah. So I mean, is there a website specifically for that, or should we go to Well3?
Yeah, you can check out chatmatic.com. I have an auto webinar rolling pretty much all the time at chatmatic.com/live. Which is kind of a funny word now you think about it. Like, you're at .com/live, but it's an auto webinar. I don't know. But it just kind of showcases, what the product is in its original alpha stage. We'll be updating it as it goes. Yeah, reach out to me on Facebook. Happy to do like one-on-one intros to people to what it does, because it's got some really cool features that like 90% of the people I show it to, it takes like a minute for it to set in. Like that, oh, wait, did it actually just do what it did? Because it doesn't take the same amount of time that it normally does. So people kind of overlook what it, some of the cool features of it, which is cool. So, but yeah, chatmatic.com, you can kind of get some basic level details about it.
Awesome, man. So for all my listeners, we're going to have some show notes down below so you can download all the stuff that we mentioned here. And we're going to have a quick summary of the entire podcast on here so you can check it all out in the show notes. But great, man. So if you want to just hang out for just 2 seconds after we wrap up, I just want to tidy up and then we'll get going. So thanks everybody for listening to this special episode of Sold with Webinars. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. So take care. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to giving you the next one. You can also follow and watch the behind-the-scenes look at how I'm personally launching a brand new 6- and 7-figure product from scratch at soldwithwebinars.com/TV. And if you'd like to come hang out with other fellow experts, join our Facebook group at soldwithwebinars.com/experts. Join us next time, and I'll see you there.